Hi everybody, I'm Tony Wilson, and this is my good friend and co-host Adrian Wright, and this is
The Supernatural and Beyond.
We got a brand new episode here.
Yes.
We're going to be doing the segments like we usually do them. It's the beginning of the new year, so consequently we want to start off with some very fresh material. So now the topic that we're going to be covering this particular episode is called the firmament. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the word firmament, it's found in a couple different places in the canonized scripture, the book of Enoch, and also some of the more ancient texts. What we've discovered is that they are basically two different perspectives on the firmament. One is from a round earth perspective, the other one is from a flat earth perspective. Now, I know what you're thinking. Everybody knows the world is round. If you think it's flat, you probably need a tinfoil hat. However, this is what we have discovered. There are two popular views. Now, Adrian
Yes.
leans more toward the round earth, right? And I lean more toward the flat earth. However, this does not affect the way that I see the world because I still have to get up and go to work in the morning. Just like I've always said, I don't own a starship. I don't have access to a starship, so I can't physically go up and, look down and say, hey, look, it's this way or it's that way.
Yes.
We're not trying to divide people. We're just basically presenting the information that we've discovered. So
From two perspectives.
So what I want to do is right now I want to turn the mic over to Adrian, and he'll give you a brief perspective of the round earth.
So, obviously the round earth would be like the ball shape, the sphere. And what I like about this is, two different perspectives. You got me representing the round earth. You got Tony representing the flat earth. And like we said, we don't have the spaceship. We can't go look. Hopefully one day maybe Tesla can shoot us up in a rocket. We can drive a car out in space or whatever. But so through my studies, I'm kind of typically going with a round earth, but I'm open to it being flat. But back to the firmament. In my studies, I kind of found that there's a few different perspectives of the firmament. So from my perspective of round earth, I see the ball, the globe, right? And then the firmament surrounding the ball. And, the firmament kind of in we get firmament from the Latin. And then kind of like the Greek or the English term would be kind of expanse. I found like expanse.
Yes.
And then also referred to as heaven. So, like if you look at the canonized scripture, for example, the New American Standard Bible calls it expanse, and then it has a note that says some translations refer to it as a heaven.
Now, when you say heaven, we're talking about where, the throne of God, the celestial beings are, or are we talking about the sun, the moon, and the stars? What exactly do you mean by heaven?
Okay, so that's great, Tony. I'm glad you brought that up. I think that they meant you have the sky, and then outside of the sky, you have like the heaven, and then there's another heaven, of course, where God sits, on his throne. And then even Enoch and even Paul talk about three heavens or more. And basically, but with the firmament, when we're tied in with the firmament, what I'm saying with the heaven or the expanse, I'm talking about like outer space.
Outer space,
right.
Like with Star Trek, Star Wars, that kind of a thing. Okay.
And then going back to the canonized scripture, when it talks about creation, the firmament or the expanse or the heaven was created before the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets.
Okay,
because it was like the second day for the firmament was put into place, or the expanse. And so to me that kind of points to that theory being like, the sun, the moon, the stars are all in the firmament. Now, how big is the firmament,
Good question.
To me, with a round earth, I kind of see the firmament as like, outer space that constantly grows at 33 and a million square miles per hour, like the speed of light.
Speed of light.
So I believe in the expanding universe.
Okay, the expanding universe. So now what we're saying is, it's like we've got the globe earth.
Yes.
And then we've got the firmament around the globe earth. And then everything that's above that it's expanding. It continues to go further and further and further out. Is that what you're saying?
Kind of. What I'm saying is you have the Earth, the ball Earth, and I'm saying that the actual firmament that's around the Earth is outer space, the fabric of space, if you will. Like if you look at the theory of relativity or
Time,
string
space,
theory.
continuum.
Yeah.
String theory,
Kind of string theory stuff or Star Wars or Star Trek. It talks about space, you know, and the fabric of space or whatever. What's it made out of? So I'm actually kind of, my view is that that fabric of space is the firmament.
The firmament. Okay. Well, that sounds good. I've had, because I was brought up in this Western culture, actually this theory of, and I use the word theory because not many people have starships that they can actually go out and check these things out. So the flat Earth, the reason why I take the perspective of the flat Earth is because in the beginning, and then we had Adam and then all the descendants and so forth and so on. So I would think that their perspective is a little bit more accurate than, you know, several centuries later.
Yes.
We'll get into more of that on the other end of this when we start to wrap some things up. But from the flat Earth perspective, it's very simple. The Earth is actually a flat disk. Flat, completely flat like the table.
Yeah.
And when it says in the scriptures, it separated the waters from the waters below and then the waters above. What I believe happened is that the Creator created an expanse. That was like a bowl.
Okay.
So like an upside down bowl. So imagine, if you will, a flat surface with an upside down bowl on top of it, and in between that there's the surface of the earth.
Yes.
And then there's the sun, the moon, and the stars.
Yes.
And then as we go into it a little bit deeper, we're going to see that above the firmament,
yes,
which I believe is a solid structure, what we're going to find is that that's where the actual throne of God is.
Yes.
The North Star,
so
Polaris.
What the way I look at it from the round earth theory is like what you're saying. You're saying that it's flat and then you have that dome, and then outside of that dome or outside the firmament you have the actual heaven where God sits on his throne. The Creator sits on his throne, right?
Okay, so there's flat earth. Then there's what you were talking about, the atmosphere, the expanse. Then there's an actual firmament, something solid.
Okay, something solid.
And then above that
is the throne.
Is where the heaven of heavens is.
Right. So from the round earth perspective, I believe that the solar system, the universe, the fabric of space and time and all that stuff, I believe outside of that, even though it's constantly expanding, I believe outside of that is the heavens where the Holy of Holies is. So it's kind of a similar principle. Yours is just smaller. Mine is just like a lot bigger. Size of the firmament.
Well, we're going to have to get that starship and go check that stuff out.
We are. We're going to have to get a good starship because I want to go all the way out there. So with this, I like it that... you know, you brought up the atmosphere, and you brought up, the ozone layer I want to bring up on top of the atmospheres because there's like gases that keep us locked in. So you have oxygen that we breathe, but then outside of that atmosphere, when you go into the firmament or into outer space, you can't breathe because there's no oxygen out there. There's nothing to hold it in. So there's that... the actual atmosphere, the actual ozone layer that kind of holds it together. So guys, if you like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe down below, and follow us next time on the Supernatural and Beyond.